progress report.
It's your girl, Lala Shepherd. Hey, boss, Brit the most lit. What's up? It's your girl, DJ Excel. And this is the progress report.
Wednesday at 9. Tune in every time. We don't do no cap. Report only facts.
What up, dope? Dennis McKinley. You tuned into the progress report. You know I'm off that Nyak. We on Revolt, man. Check us out. The progress report.
All right, what's going on? It's your girl, Lala Shepherd.
Boss Brit the most lit.
What's up? It's your girl, DJ Excel.
All right, yeah, we got a special guest in the building, man. We got Dennis McKinley in the building.
What up, dope?
Okay.
What's up?
Dope.
Hey, man,
Detroit.
first and foremost, thank you for supporting us. You know, we always got the Nyak bottles for every interview that we do. And, you know, just cheers to black entrepreneurship first and foremost, okay?
So,
I'm drinking water,
Sure.
but, you know, yes,
It'll
sir.
work. Brit she be under clean shit. So we got to let you introduce yourself and all the wonderful things that you do just because it's so much. And we just want to make sure you get the words out.
Okay. Dennis McKinley, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, but I've had the privilege to live in a lot of different cities in this country, big cities, and met some great people. I lived in New York for a minute, Chicago for a minute, LA for a minute, Vegas for a minute, Miami for a minute, and I made Atlanta my home, you know, roughly, 10 years ago. Had some great business success. I currently spend about 50% of my time just, helping, small black business get from kind of a startup level to a point where they can go out and raise cash. That's the hardest part of it, right? Getting an idea out of your head and to a point where people can understand what you're trying to do. So I spend a lot of time doing that and investing, but, we own Cru Lounge, which is the largest, we're hookah first, but as far as like things to do for the culture, when you go to a different city, say, hey, I want to go out somewhere, it's only Cru. We are in, 10 cities. We got 14 locations. We got, 7 more coming. DC is coming in 2 weeks. Miami is coming in 2 weeks. So that's special on the hot dog factory. I'm from Detroit. All we do is eat hot dogs. So I had the glizzy for sure. So we own got like 14 or 15 of those. I just joined Hype Hair Magazine, which is an iconic brand. It's been around 30 plus years. Just all things hair for women of color, hair news, hair culture, hair trends. That's exciting. So. Look, I just partnered also with Bernie Watkins, which is probably the most prolific female entertainment lawyer in this country. We talking about Atlanta being a mecca, but Bernie Watkins has had an amazing career. She called me and said, "Hey, listen, I want to do my own label," and I've been trying to push her to do that for probably 5 years because her base is crazy. Lotto's her client and 21 Savage. Wow. She's got all this talent around her, and she's been helping, producers like Tay Keith and Hit Kid, do these big deals. I'm like, Bernie, you got first line access to this talent. You got to go ahead and, step out and take your career to another level. So she just started a label, helping with that. So, this is Atlanta. This is.
Yeah, Nyak.
Yeah, I was going to get to Nyak too.
Okay.
But, Nyak came about because at Cru, all we did was sell Hennessy, et cetera. And, look, these big liquor companies, they understand who drinking all the liquor. Okay. Like, we drinking all the liquor, right?
Respectfully.
And I said, listen, we growing fast. I'm selling 200 cases of Hennessy a week. Y'all ain't going to support me? Ain't going to do nothing?
Man,
and they was
I
like,
feel that.
I was like, what you want us to do? I said, nothing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just get my own shit. So that's how Nyak came in the part because, and that's a very important, thing because a lot of time we get in business to make money and that's just a piece of it, right? But you got to be passionate about what you're doing to really, really, really make it work. Thanks. And I was selling so much Hennessy, I said, look, I refuse to sell any more cognac until we can do something for ourselves. So that's how Nyak came about. That's the fastest growing cognac in the history of cognac. We're in 18 states right now and growing. So if you're an artist, a tastemaker, a creator, and you need help promotion, doing the video, whatever, man, contact us, and I'm happy to support, your mission because at the end of the day, if we consuming the product and we ain't making no money off of it, like, what's the point, Yes, so, Nyak is cognac, so we got VS, Peach, Cinnamon, I'm promoting right now, VSOP.
Okay.
But more importantly, though, when I started that, I said, listen, Because I've seen what Rick Ross has done for Bel Air. I've seen what Diddy is doing for his brand. I wanted to make sure that when I did Nyak, I partnered or brought in partners that were part of the culture. We got Young MA. You know Young MA, she only drink cognac. That's it. I called her first and said, listen, I want you to be a part of that. So the VSOP is actually, you know, her product. You know, she owns a piece of that.
Wow.
And
that's big. Because her Instagram used to be Honey and Hoes.
Yeah.
So you switched that
you
around.
You went back.
Yeah.
Yeah. All she did was drink Hennessy. I said, you know, listen, you know, you drink cognac for real. Let's make sure you're making some cash while you promoting what you do just every day. And then my homegirl Trina, you know, legend in the
Big
game.
Trina.
You know what I mean? She said, I said, look, Trina, you seen what Ross has done. Like, it's time for you as an icon, as a legend. You got to get a piece of this cash, too. So, actually, the peach and cinnamon is Trina's brand. That's hers.
Wow.
You know?
Fuck with the peach.
Yeah, that's her partner in that. So, look, it's all about creating opportunities and, like, you know, making sure things that we create and consume stay within our own community. That's important.
Yes, sir.
You know
we
what
gotta
I'm
do
saying?
another toast to that, cause damn,
Boss
nah,
man
that's
in the
hard.
building.
That's
For
hard,
real.
man.
No, because I was just saying there's a particular brand out there that the culture really supports, and then you go to their advertisement and it doesn't even, it's not even promoted to us. So then
Call them out.
Casamigos.
Casamigos.
You go
Okay,
to
no,
Instagram,
yeah,
there's white
yeah.
people all on
No.
their Instagram
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, so we like, you know, we were starting like a promotion to just promote a special at our club.
Yeah.
And when I went to Instagram, I'm like, yo, it's people drinking in the mountains by a campfire.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
while we
In the club.
requesting that,
Yeah.
and there's no way our culture isn't making an impact on their sales. And it
Right.
felt like a slap in the face to me. And I don't even drink tequila like that, but
Well, I'll tell you what the difference is.
yeah.
The difference is, you know, when they created Casamigos, they wasn't thinking about our culture when they was making that product. Nyak is for the culture. You go to my Instagram, you ain't gonna see us drinking in the mountains because we ain't going to the goddamn mountains.
Yeah,
You feel me?
facts.
You're not gonna see us doing stuff that you know the culture ain't doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. But if you call Casamigos right now, they know that we buying a product,
Yeah.
but they don't care about it. You know,
Yeah.
so it's still opportunity there. If anybody want to get into tequila game, it's a big opportunity because the Casamigos of the world, the Don Julios in the world, they're owned by major conglomerates where only a little piece of the business comes from our culture. So they really don't care if we buy it or not. It's really, but they understand that at the end of the day, we do move the culture. So they may take a little piece that may give folks here you go some money to, you know, talk about it. But like, we need to be at the table. You know,
Are
that's
you
very important.
thinking about tequila?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
We're working on the tequila right this second.
Where?
You know, so
Dope.
Period. And with the Nyak though, I fuck with the Nyak because I like cognac.
Appreciate
Me and H, I think we probably drink it the most. But I'm drunk right now.
Yeah.
But it's smooth though, you know what I mean? And not just saying that just because you hear it, but I genuinely fuck with it though. So it's actually a great liquor. So
well, I'll tell you, if in order to sell cognac, I mean, it's got to be made in a small region of France called cognac. And you can't get on the plane and go to cognac and say, hey, yeah, I want to do a cognac. They're going to be like, what? Right. You know, you have to be French and speak the language. So, you know, two of my partners, there's four of us all together, you know, and I'm the only black man at the table. So it's black on. But I'm going to tell you what's important is you can't go and just say, I want to create a cognac. So, but it was very important that this product is for us, you know. That was one of the things that we said before we even came to the table and broke bread. Like, I'm not trying to do a cognac and, you know, sell it in Japan and somebody sipping. No, this is for the culture. So, very important.
for sure. All right then. Well, let's take it back then. You know, since you grew up in Detroit, I understand that you lived in other places. Like, what was your experience growing up there? Me and Britt, we from the Midwest, so we familiar with the Midwest,
Where y'all
but we from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
So we familiar with the hot dogs and shit too.
Yeah.
But
y'all got what, Skyline, right?
Yeah, we got
Skyline
Skyline,
is the
Gold
best.
Star.
Yep.
They be
Skyline
debating.
is the best.
Man.
But he said Skyline, so obviously it's the best. But tell us about what it was like, you know, growing up in Detroit, because like from what we know about Detroit, like that ain't no easy city to come up in.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, you know, one thing about Detroit is, you know, it's a real working class city. You know, all the automobile manufacturers was there growing up. Now it's a little different because, you know, technology is taking a turn. But it's a real hustling city. So, you know, blue collar, you grow up and all you know is work because everybody around you, they get up and go to work. But if you know anything about Detroit, it's also a big dope city, big drug city. Drug culture is very relevant there. You know, growing up with, you know, young boys and, you know, BMF, et cetera, all that stuff started in Detroit. So we got a major impact on just culture overall. You know, we talk about like Cartiers, like that's Detroit. You know, Air Force Ones. Anybody in New York, they may try to argue with me like, nah, we started Air One. Like that really Detroit thing. You know, shout out to Nelly. By the time Nelly was talking about Air Force Ones, like we was burning them out. You know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of the cultures just, you know, you could tell in our music right now, like Detroit really popping on the music scene. Detroit music. You know, shout out to my homeboy Cash Out, my homeboy Vezo, baby, like we just keep going. Cash Down, shout out to homie Cash Down. Like the music in Detroit is going crazy right now. And if you listen to that music, we got our own style, we got our own thing. You know, we talk about big coats and minks and, you know, gators. You know, that's just Detroit culture. So, you know, it was definitely inspirational growing up, because when you go outside, you see, you know, folks who like, man, you know, he rich, you know, what he doing? Probably selling dope, but like that's part of when you're growing up, you want a fast car, you want a big car, because that's just how the culture is. So I'm excited and, you know, privileged to be able to grow up in Detroit, you know, just to be around that and just put that battery in your pack that, you know, hey, you got to go out and get it, you know. So.
Hell yeah. And like, so with college, I think everybody attended college. Okay.
Dropped out.
Got you. Well, okay, but you attended it though.
Nah, I was like registered.
Oh, okay.
And I had my dorm room and everything.
Oh, shit.
And then I decided not to go because I wanted to start a record label.
Okay.
And I didn't go.
And I respect that too. So I was just gonna ask, like, because I know you went to college. Did you feel like you ever had to unlearn anything to become an entrepreneur?
That's a great question. I'll tell you what, college, if anything, prepared me to not think so much with my gut, you know, because as an entrepreneur, we always kind of think with our gut to say, okay, I think this will work. College is something different. It teaches you to process that 1 + 1 is 2, and that's because this is why it's like that, right? Entrepreneurship is kind of like, I think this is one, you know. So if anything, college prepared me to think with my gut, but think rationally with my gut when making, you know, business decisions. That's very important. So yeah, shout out to the Michigan Wolverines, go blue. You know, that's my alma mater. But you know, so look, you know, I got a daughter. She's 4 years old. I know it's gonna be a time when she say, you know, she got to make a decision if she want to go to college or not. And it's going to be a requirement in our household, because that's just something that, you know, I'm huge on education, and regardless if you use your degree or not, right, nobody can ever take that from you. Now, who knows what the world's going to look like in 20 years with artificial intelligence, et cetera, coming up. But just that whole process of, you know, being made to prove, you know, things that are true, like 1 + 1 is 2, is very important when you're talking about making personal decisions, business decisions, everything else. So it's my take on college real quick.
And what was your degree in?
Economics.
Of course.
Word.
But you know,
1 + 1 is 2.
Right.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy though? I got 3 degrees. One of my degrees is culinary, right? So when people think about, oh, you know, you got hot dog factory and stuff, like I do the kitchen for real. I be telling people like I do the kitchen for real. It's like chill. You know, and that was I got to still have a huge passion for the kitchen and culinary, but like that was very important. You know, when you go into a restaurant, like things need to be made a certain way. You need to understand, you know, you making a hamburger, but how much does a hamburger cost? What does a hamburger look like? What ingredients you're making? Like when I talk to, you know, small business owners, I ask them, I say, listen, you want to sell a hamburger for $10, so why do you want to sell it for $10? How much does a hamburger cost you to make? And then you ain't gonna be in the kitchen all the time, so add that up plus the people that's in the kitchen, plus your front, like what does this hamburger really cost? And they be like, damn, I never thought about that. Okay, listen, let's go back to square one, right? Because that's just culinary 101 that teaches you, like when you are building a menu and trying to figure out a customer, you gotta go all the way to the ground. What the burger cost? What bun you using? Because you can use 100 different buns. They may look the same, but they're not the same. So, you know, that's culinary 101. Like when you trying to open a restaurant, etc. Like you got to know those minor details to make major profit at the end of the day. So,
everybody from Detroit seems to talk about how like they aspire to work in a factory, like you said, the automotive business. So what made you say I don't, or did you take that route to first say I would want to go that route, but then you ended up doing economics? So how did you end up doing, how transfer there?
I worked in the plant too. I was 18, And when I first went to college, they had this program like, hey, you know, you can come work at the plant for the summertime and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I used to work at the plant too. I used to work at a plant called Rouge Steel. And we, they made steel for Ford and everything else. I don't even know if Rouge Steel is in business, but like, you know, for a key 18, you can make good money. You just work.
That's facts.
You know what I mean? And if you're not focused on like your vision, your own dreams, you know, you can work in a plant 30 years and retire and be cool for the rest of your life.
Time went by, yeah, you look up.
The time we look back, you're like, damn, I wanted to do this. But, you know, so I made sure I didn't get caught in that. But, yeah, it was good money. You pass up $30, $25 an hour to just sit around and watch some steel rolling. Good money.
So you've been wanting to do entrepreneurship even when you was in school and all that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, you know, one of my mentors, they own one of the Glenda Brundage. Hello, I love you. I don't know if she watched the progress report, but you know, she's one of the, no, for real, she's one of the first black McDonald's owners, you know, in Detroit. They had 2 locations. That was my next door neighbor. We moved from Detroit to Southfield, and she was like, "Hey, what you doing today?" I'm like, "I'm about to go to school." She was like, "Okay, what time you got school?" Like 2:00. She said, "Okay, meet me at 3. I'm about to take you." And then next thing you know, I was working at McDonald's, and I was learning.
That's
like,
crazy.
The business. You know, I was like 14, 15. I was like a real wake-up call to say, okay, look, if you can do it, get your own, I definitely could, you know, do it. So, yeah, shout out to her, but yeah, I was 14, you know, 15.
No,
That's
shout out
dope.
to her.
Nah, for real, look at the
Yeah.
universe, cause what?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. It's a dope mentor to have.
And like going back to college, like for me, I graduated college, and I more so did it just because, like, just how I was raised. Like, you know, my mom had me when she was young. She went and got her master's degree, so it was always a thing. Like, you ain't got no excuse not to do it. I ain't had no kids,
Right.
so I did it for my mom. Really, for my family,
Yeah.
but I don't regret it for the fact that I'm still friends with a lot of people I went to school with, and those relationships are priceless. But at the same time, had I known now what I know, you know, if I had known then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have went. But you know, relating that to entrepreneurship, I do think it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So can we talk about just that in the general, like where it's like, to be an entrepreneur, like you gotta low-key gotta be in you, or high-key gotta be in you, and it's like it's cool with doing a 9 to 5 and going to college and shit.
Listen, did I see you this question before? How you know this? I be telling everybody, like, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. You gotta really dig really deep, because people think nowadays, I'm gonna just go get on my soapbox a little bit. Nowadays, with Instagram, etc., everybody acting like entrepreneurs so cool. You know, everybody be talking about, yeah, you know, you could do this, create an LLC. Like, that's some of the wackest advice ever, because you really set people up to fail. Because when you get out here and you really, like, digging deep to what entrepreneurship is, if you open a burger spot right now and call it XYZ Burgers, you're not even understanding that you're competing with billion-dollar corporations for the same customer. McDonald's, and you can keep going down the line, Burger King, Wendy's. Like, they have billions of dollars in talent and and marketing that you are trying to compete with the same customer. Like, you really need to really figure out, A, is entrepreneurship really for you? And 2, are you even ready to battle Goliath? You know, people don't really think about that. They think entrepreneurship cool. I got on the spot, but you ain't making no money. You know, you better off going to work for McDonald's if you're really talented and helping them improve what they got going on. You're going to make better money. You're going to sleep better at night. Your family going to have it better. You know, so, look, we really got to get off of this. Everybody want to be entrepreneurs, because really, you know, like you say, high key, really, we just destroying our own community trying to take a risk that we really shouldn't be taking. And that's the honest to God truth. People ain't going to like to hear that, but that is the truth.
Nah, I feel that, because I feel like I started Toro. Never wanted to be into Turo.
Yeah.
I know she tried Airbnb before, but it's just because that information is out there. Like, yo, I'll teach you if you buy my my manual, my workshop. I'll teach you how to ebook. Yeah, I'll teach you how to grow a multi-business. And then, like you said, there's so much that's left out of that because they just don't have it in them to where they end up failing.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then in addition, like, you know, I don't have nothing against people hustle, man. We all hustle at some point, you know, for sure. But you know, you buy an ebook $100, 1,000 people done bought that ebook, and then, you know, everybody doing Turo, everybody got the same cars. Like, I'm gonna just go to Hertz. You feel me? Like, you want me to pick your car from where? Like, I'm cool. You know, it's like, and those are great companies, but the people that's really making the money is Turo and the people selling you the ebook.
Yes.
You feel me?
That'd be genius.
Man.
Y'all not doing nothing.
No,
Y'all not even answering these emails.
Yeah.
They be like, today it's a discount for just today only.
Hey, today only.
Today only.
Right.
And look, I mean, if you get to that point, but I tell people all the time, like, when you looking for information and you looking for mentors and people, like, you want to look for folks that really does, like, have you ever sold a company before? Like, that's really the mark for me. Like, you could, preach and hustle all day long, but like, when you build a business and then you can sell it to somebody else, then that really tops the mark for me. You're like, this is real entrepreneurship at this point,
So since you say that, right, it's crazy because, especially like in the Black culture, when people build up a company and sell it, we say you're a sellout. Where we hear a lot of business people say that was the whole goal. And even like in the music industry, let's say like how QC.
Shout out to QC.
Yeah. Everybody was upset when really it could have been a huge win for the culture. How do you feel about just people thinking that way?
Yeah, first of all, I love the move for QC. Look, Scooter Braun bought the company, first of all.
Yeah,
anybody understands Scooter Braun, like he come, I know Scooter Braun, a white boy. I want to say white boy, but Scooter Braun, white boy. Yeah. But he is in the culture, like Scooter Braun ain't, he ain't like he, UK guy just got an MBA and like, I want to just profit. Like Scooter Braun is in the culture. That's one of the most prolific entertainment managers ever existed, and he is in the culture. So it ain't like they sold it to somebody like who ain't in the culture. I think that was a great move. They built a great business over there, and look, with the money they got, they can do it 5 more times. They can help 20 other people. It may not be in music, but they can take that money and maybe you got a real estate idea, maybe you got a burger idea, right? And you can go talk to Coach and P say, look, man, I know y'all just made 300. Like, invest 300 in there. But and that's just another, plus to the community where now they got some cash to help other folks,
Right.
So I think it was a great move. They built a great business, and I'm sure whenever that non-compete is, I don't know what situation they got. I'm sure they're gonna do it again 3, 4, 5 more times.
But just in general, it's okay to sell, and sometimes that's the point.
I mean, look, who are we to say somebody selling out when you ain't did the work?
Yeah,
right.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
People be on at home like,
No, they don't know nothing about the background work.
One of the last companies I sold, I used to own a company called Queen Virgin Remy.
Okay, we know about that Queen Virgin Remy.
Oh, for real?
We know. Come
on.
on. I know I'm a stud now, but yeah, I used to wear a little.
Come and get your weed.
Who ain't have it? Come on.
Listen, I sold that company to the largest hair manufacturer in the world out of China called Rebecca. And I really had to look myself in the mirror and say, damn, do I want to sell this company to folks who are not a part of the culture? Right. And man, one of my friends had to come smack me like, what? If you don't get this fucking money?
Right.
And that was a tough decision for me, but look, if they didn't buy that company, they probably was going to compete with me even harder. At the time, everybody would sell hair now at some point, but it was just me.
One of the first.
Yeah, we had 15 locations, and it was getting tough because everybody was selling hair, and they was already supplying hair to everybody. It was like, hey, let me just buy it and have a direct, outlet. It was like, you did a great job. I'm like, damn, but I don't want to sell to you.
Right.
Because I know you don't care about my culture. So that was a very hard decision to make, but I think, QC probably got an easier decision because they selling to folks who are already in the business and already attached to the culture. So
It's real tough.
at the end of the day, though, you got to get your money.
Okay.
And like you said, you can invest it right back into the culture. Even how you said, like, Cru is all for the culture. So, like, you could use that money to invest in Cru where people think that you just selling out when really you just...
Yeah, no, look, I took that Queen Virgin Remy money and I started a few other businesses and I helped a lot of other people, get in business. So you can call me a seller all you want to, but, that money helped a lot of folks and fed a lot of families. Like, I took that money and all my managers that was at Queen Virgin Remy, they all got broke off, so. Look, end of the day, one thing for sure, you fall off, man. A lot of people who you think your friend ain't going to be there anyway, so you better get that money.
Nah,
that's real tough. I mean, shit, Remy, who ain't had a Remy? One thing
that
about
that
females,
4B.
Okay, listen, when it comes to, I would say black females, one thing we gonna spend our money on is our hair. I remember just saving up like hair.
For real.
Give a fuck how much it costs. We spending thousands in that motherfucker, like lashes. But it's true. So I respect that.
Yeah.
Now, like I want to talk about too. Like when we talk about just black businesses, it's a lot of black businesses that got a negative energy around them, or just a stigma, or what word am I trying to use? Reputation, I guess. Why do you think that is, and how can we like alleviate that? Because I've dealt with a lot of bad black businesses personally.
Well, you know what? I love black people. Like I love us. But we so hard on each other. We so hard on each other, and it's just our history. Like we are very oppressed people, and when we get done wrong, we just go hard, and we go even harder, amongst each other, and which is why I ain't trying to get them back on my soapbox. So much violence in our community, but that's just how we were. Just all that slavery, man. That's what they taught us. But I think we got to do better in our community of just being ready, being prepared, holding each other accountable, and that started at the top. We still, after all these years of marching and slavery, we still don't have real leadership within our communities that really don't care about making money and care about uplifting each other. And that's important. And if you go, into other communities, like the Asians and, the Jews, et cetera, like they have real community leaders that hold each other accountable and say, listen, if you're going to do this, you got to do it that way. Right. And look, this is a very, very deep conversation, because we talk about, us being underrepresented. Like, if you try to open a business right now and go to the bank as a black person, you have a very hard time, because you probably going to a bank that ain't owned by no black people, right? That's different in other communities. Like, we understand that Jewish folks, et cetera, own a lot of the institutions, but they still have their own institutions within the community to say, listen, you got a great idea. This family plus this family plus this family, all we do is lend to folks with ideas like this. And you ain't even got to go to a bank. You can go get 100,000 from this family or that family, because that's what they were raised on. That's how they do in their own community, right? So we so behind on that. It ain't so many people I can go to and say, listen, I got an idea. I need 100,000. Like, we're so far behind on that. So
what Trump said, he took a small loan of $1 million, a small loan of $1 million.
Yeah. A small loan, right? $1 million to us is like a lot of damn money, right? Yeah. So look, we got a lot of work to do, and look, I don't know if we ever gonna get there, but we got to start somewhere. We had these conversations behind closed doors, with folks who are doing things in our community. Like, that's all we really talk about. And the question is, like, where do we start, and like, how do we get there? Who's going to stand in front? Because, that's a hard question. With money on everybody's mind nowadays, it's like, when you stand in front and say, listen, I'm going to be the spokesperson to help everybody, like, that person got to get paid too, right? So, a lot of work to do.
So you said you like 50% of your time is helping small businesses, right? Like, what's some tips for a small business that you see that people are struggling with on the regular that you got advice for?
Yeah. So the reason why I was late, I was at an event, that just focused on founders of color. It was put on by an organization called Plug and Play. This focus is just on people of color and ideas and how they can get that idea out. And we're talking about big ideas. So, when I talk to entrepreneurs, like, you got to have a good idea. Like, we've been talking about burgers, but if you look at what my sister Pinky Cole did, like, she broke a mold, right? Because she didn't really, like, she sells burgers, but she sells something very different than burgers. She sells a healthy vegan lifestyle, but she sells burgers. And the shit ain't cheap. If you ever went to something vegan, you $20 in the door. You
$30 shit with the price.
But I've never heard anybody go in there and say it's too expensive.
That's true.
Right? So when you think about idea, you got to think about like a real big idea. Like, everybody is doing what you're doing, but you got to do it a lot different. You got to do it to a point where it's going to change some things. Otherwise, you just really buying yourself a job, for real.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of opportunity when people think about, oh, what kind of idea you got. People always think they got to say, oh, I got this that ain't never been done before. Like, it ain't really about that. It's about doing something that's probably right in front of our face, but you can do it a lot different and really like break the mold. So, you know, I just hear, you know, when I hear pitches, I probably hear, you know, 10 or 15 a week. It just be the same. You know, a lot of times it just be the same stuff. You know, there's nothing really different. It may have a different name on it, shinier package, but like it's got to be different. You know, otherwise, you know, go work for Google. You'll make a lot more money and have a better life for yourself. You know, and that's not even a diss. That's the real shit for real.
Hell yeah.
When it comes to like putting your prices on products, what advice would you give on that? Because sometimes we might be like, all right, I want to price it to where I'm attracting my current target market, but what if I don't want that to be my target market? Like, what if I want to sell some shit at like $100 a pop? Yeah. What advice would you give to be able to? You gotta
find your target market.
Well, like how would you find the target market?
Well, you gotta understand what you're selling, right? So I'll give you an example about Queen Virgin Remy. We really blew up overnight because we were selling here at a price where nobody thought it could be sold. But see, the trick was I was making very small margins, like when people were coming in the door, but I was really killing it online, like shipping my product. Because people was like, man, you selling a bundle for $40? Yeah, but the shipping is $20. But people didn't care because they thought they was getting a deal on the product. We was making so much money on shipping.
She spent all her shipping money. Look, you took all her shipping money.
Yeah. But see,
I
was making so much money on shipping.
Love good hair.
Right? I was making so much money on shipping. I was only making a few pennies really on the product. People got the product, they were telling people like, man, I just got this hair for $40. They didn't tell them that they also paid $20 for shipping.
Wow.
Right?
I like that.
So I was making a killing really on the shipping piece. And if you think about business, that's really what it's all about.
Hey, people done that with like, get my book for free, but you pay for shipping.
Yeah.
And shipping might be like $12.
Yeah.
It really might cost $6 to ship.
That's a good gem right
there. I mean, look at like some of the fashion conglomerates that just popped up overnight. Shein and Fashion Nova. Like, how much money do you really think they making on the They're making a lot of money on that.
Okay.
They're making that money all on volume. That's how they really make their money. Right. You know, so sometimes entrepreneurship ain't about coming up with a great idea. It's just about being smarter than your competitors, really. You know?
Yeah, that's real talk.
Like that.
Yeah.
Now, I definitely want to make sure we elaborate a little bit more on Cru, because I remember when Cru was introduced to Atlanta last year. I've been here for a minute, you know, but I remember like when Cru came, because it was just that spot, and it was just cool. It was intimate. It wasn't too big, and just everything about it. Like, I recently went maybe last month, but it's always a vibe. You might not find nowhere to sit, but it's a vibe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I definitely want you to talk about Cru, just the inspiration for starting it, and just, you know, just seeing it expand to these other markets too.
Yeah. No. So yeah, Cru. I didn't actually start Cru. My office is always been and still is in the Old Fourth Ward. And when I got off work, I would just go to Cru because it was like right around the corner. I bought Cru from a lady named Grace Lee, who was just a tastemaker and like a mover and shaker in Atlanta. And I was going there every day, and I was spending a crazy amount of money. I just said, Grace, look, I'm really tired of buying bottles in here. Like, let me just buy Cru. And
That's crazy.
She was like, hell no. And then one day I went in there, she was like, you want to still buy Cru? I'm like, yeah, right now. So that's how I got Cru. You know, I didn't really, you know, come up with that idea, but I did remodel it to what it is today. I went to, you know, a club in New York called the Greenhouse, which is out of business now, and they had the green theme, and I like loved it. So I jacked the green theme, plus what Grace already created with the hookah, and that's how Cru was born. So that was back in end of 2013, and Cru just exploded really. And people from all over the country would come to Atlanta and say, man, you know, damn, man, I ain't got no Cru in this city and that city. So I'm like, okay, do I want to like do this again where I just go to every city and open a Cru, or do I want to franchise it? And so we franchise Cru. Today we have 30 franchise partners, you know, from Cru Alpharetta, which is a great team. You know, the good Cru is what I call them. You know, Alex Good Energy, Shanika, Torica. You know, they're really doing their thing out there in Atlanta. We got 6 locations. Yeah, we got Alpharetta, we got Douglasville, we got you know, Macon is coming soon. We got Warner Robins.
Got you.
That's Columbus opening next week, right? Edgewood is owned by Cassidy, who's from New Orleans but loves Cru. So that's how it grew. But you know, we just all been about, you know, hookah first, and they're all small by design, right? Because I didn't want to spend $10,000 every week for Trey Songz and other folks to come to Cru, for people to come in there. I wanted somewhere where people didn't have no pressure to buy no bottles. You go to Cru right now, we don't charge to get in. We don't force you to buy a bottle. We don't charge you for sections. You can come in there and spend $10, $15. It don't matter. I just want some place to chill, because I was really myself. I was tired of going to clubs and they like, okay, you want a section? It was $800. I'd be like, damn.
It's Tuesday.
Like, it's Tuesday. I'm with my girl. I'm just really trying to chill. They be like, $800. I'm like, damn. So that's how we really came up with Cru, because the pressure in Atlanta was crazy. Like,
that's dope.
And it proved it works. So, you know, we expanding, you know, where we at right now.
So can you talk about the benefits of being a franchisee?
Yeah.
Like, is it more affordable? Like, are you guys giving the whole plan?
Yeah, so look, I've been franchising for a long time. First of all, I told you about my mentor, the Brundish family. I bought my first franchise. I was 20 something. I bought a Subway, like 20 years old. And I was like, damn, man, Subway is kind of making a lot of money off me. But what I understood about Subway is I didn't have to build a business. When people drove by, they didn't really care who owned it, but they know that I'm going to get a sandwich from Subway that I like what I get. I know what they got, right? So that's really the benefits of franchising. You go into business, but you're not in business for yourself. You're going into something with a brand already built. You have help to get you through some of the pitfalls of starting to, you know, try to scale a business. Those are the real benefits of franchising. Now, you got to pay for that, of course. We make a royalty on every dollar that comes through your door, but you're using my name, using my team, and stuff we've been doing the last 13 years to get to where we at. So, you know, look, people, you know, can say they like franchising or not, but if you want to get in business and not be by yourself, franchising is really, you know, the way to do it. You know, we talking about Cru just humbly. We have 14 locations, but if you talk about like Subway and McDonald's, they got 70, 100,000 restaurants, you know, where you go in there, you know exactly what you're going to get on the Big Mac. You know exactly how long it's going to take you, you know, and you're expecting that same thing. And that's what we try to build at Cru. Because for us as a culture, if you go to New York City right now, it's like, okay, where do I go to party? Like, they're going to take you 5 different places. But if you go to New York and you're from Atlanta and you know it's a Cru there, you definitely going to Cru. Right. So that was the kind of the goal, and that's what we working toward.
So do y'all have like a lot of restrictions when it comes to people who want to franchise Cru?
That's a good question too. Look, if you know, franchise on a very high level is very competitive, and they have a lot of red tape and things that they tell you got to have this amount of money, this amount of experience, this amount of cash. For us as black folk, we don't have that. So, you know, us trying to get into a McDonald's, Burger King is very tough. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, look, if you're a hard worker, if you just trust me, like, I don't care how much money you got, your experience, like, as long as you got a will, I'm gonna help you. So, look, black and white, yeah, I got some requirements that you got to meet, but at the end of the day, it's just about, you know, opportunity for real.
And it comes with the mentorship from you guys.
Yeah, everything. You know, we're gonna help you find a location. We're gonna train you. We're gonna train your staff. You know, even when you get open, you're gonna make some mistakes. We're gonna make sure, but we there with you every step of the way.
That's the dope part, because it's so much. Even when you say you got a Subway, I'm sure you learn so much on even how to run your own business from how their systems.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, look, that's the real benefit, because you know these folks have got billions of dollars into this process, into this system, and it's the system part of it that's very important. You know, where to buy from, how to buy, how to calculate it, your profit and loss statements, things that you're not gonna learn unless you've been through a real MBA. Like if you've got a 4-year degree in business, they're not gonna take you through the real steps of entrepreneurship. You got to go get the MBA to learn what you learn by having a franchise. You know, so yeah, look, you know, being franchising is the way to go if you're not trying to, you know, really risk your life and, you know, proving a concept.
Nah, it makes sense.
For real.
Now, you know, personally, like, I just want to know, how do you balance everything? And plus, you know, being a dad.
I don't do a good job at it. I'll tell you that. Look, it's so many demands, you know, from a day-to-day basis. You know, overall, I probably have with all my concepts, I probably got 100 franchise partners, and they call me all the time. You know, and it's like their life or death situation is immediately our life or death situation. So when it comes to trying to balance that with your personal life, you know, that's very difficult because, you know, especially when you're trying to build a family and a relationship. And I ain't trying to point no fingers or nothing. At some point, you got to cut it off. You know, we always joke around with some of my friends, like, how much money is enough money? Like, how much do you want? You know, it's like, you got to fit, you know, I was with one of my friends the other day, and he got a term sheet on one of his companies he's been building for 15 years. He got a term sheet of like $60 million. I'm like, okay, listen, motherfucker, like, you about to get $60 million. Well, he ain't gonna get the whole 60 because he got some partners. But like, okay, you're gonna get $40 million. How much is enough, motherfucker? Listen, get your money and build your family, so you can get a head start for the next generation. See, us as entrepreneurs, sometimes we get some wins, and enough ain't never fucking enough.
Man.
Like, bro, how much is enough? Sit your ass, like, and that's where I just really, like, after all the shit, I really, like, my daughter's about to be 4. Shout out to my daughter, PJ. But
okay,
it's like,
she watching.
No, for real. How much is enough?
How much is it? What's your enough point? That's the thing. You gotta set a number.
No, I'm going through that internally right now.
Okay.
How much is enough? Because at some point, enough is enough. You know, you gotta like set yourself up for your legacy, your next generation. Not only your kids, but like other entrepreneurs too. So like, you gotta really set a limit, like enough. Because otherwise, you'll be like 60 and you still gambling and now you broke. You know, so it's like enough. It's gotta be enough at some point.
So, can you talk about the importance on working on your business than in your business? Because I heard you were saying earlier, like, sometimes people start entrepreneurship just to be working in their business.
Yeah.
And delegating, the importance of delegating.
Yeah, look, you know, scaling is a real art, you know, and I talked to this young lady last week, and I don't even want to say the business because she got something special, but what I told her, I said, listen, what you have right now is a job, and there's nothing wrong with having a job, but it's a hell of a lot of pressure with having a job, right? You got to make a decision if you want to work this job for the rest of your life, or do you want to take it to the next step, get out of your business, and scale it so you can be free, right? So some people be like, okay, I'm gonna just be honest. Like, most entrepreneurs I make really ain't making no money for real. They may make 30 to 60,000, but they can say, "Oh, I got my own stuff." Which is some pride to that, but really at the end of the day, man, that shit whack. Like, you're smart enough and talented enough in this generation we got right now. I don't care how old you are, shit. You can get on motherfucking TikTok and Instagram and make 60.
Man.
You know, so you gotta really decide, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And I said, listen, if you want to take yourself to a next level, you gotta really like work on your business and get out of your business. She said, well, how am I gonna do that? If I replace myself, I'm only gonna make 20,000. I said, okay, so listen, this is what you gotta do. You have got to think outside 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. How can you live off of $20,000? And she looked at me like I was motherfucking crazy. I said, do you want to get out of your business, or do you want to work this spot for your next 10 years? And the way artificial intelligence is, this shit might ain't be here 5 years.
Crazy.
All right, so you got to really think about what you really want in your life. And she was like, damn. I said, listen, either that or take your ass to Google, right? And that's life-changing because, you know, life is short, a lot of stuff going on, and sometimes, even as entrepreneurs, as us, we just can only see what's right ahead of us because there's so much pressure in if you're a business owner is, where's my next dollar coming from, right? The big companies don't think that way.
Facts.
They're thinking summertime. They're thinking first quarter of 2024, right? So, you know, that's the struggle. You have got to work on your business and get out the kitchen, get off the register. Pay somebody to do that, you know, because otherwise you just have a job.
And be willing to take a loss to be working on a bigger picture to down the road making more money.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a loss. I would call it an investment in yourself.
Word, I love it.
An investment in your brand. All right?
I love it.
So,
For sure. Now, I think I had first got introduced to who you were through reality TV. Yeah. Of course, I knew about your businesses, but didn't know it was, your businesses. Of course, you were dating Porsha. Yeah. From
shout out to Porsha.
Housewives of Atlanta. Did being in the public eye, did it help or hurt your businesses?
Well, what's crazy is I tell the story, for those who ask, I don't watch TV right now. I love sports, so I watch clips on ESPN. I read the Wall Street Journal, and I watch clips on CNN, but I don't watch television. So when we met, I didn't really know, she was this big reality star. I just thought she was fine in the motherfucker. Okay. Right? So that time came, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, she kind of a big deal. And, but I would tell you this, like anything else, if you don't watch soccer, you don't know how big David Beckham is. Right. You don't know because you don't watch soccer. So I wasn't in reality TV where I didn't know how big it was until it actually hit. And then some people was like, oh, yeah, I got the hot dog factory. It's on TV. I'm like, damn, well, okay. But they got their own fan base. Reality TV got their own fan base.
Yes, definitely.
But on the other side, though, when you go into a boardroom or something like that and you talking to busy people, they don't know what. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, look, it's got some pluses and minuses. I don't trade nothing for the world because we got a kid, so I wouldn't, if she would have told me something on reality TV, I still wouldn't have cared because I had, a goal in mind at that point, right? But, you feel me? Yeah, but I wouldn't care anyway. But yeah, so look, it didn't hurt. It definitely helped because there's a huge fan base who watch that stuff. So I've been able to meet a lot of good people. A lot of guys on the show I'm still friends with to this day, and that's what it's all about, just building relationships.
Nah, for sure. The hot dog factory, that's up the street from my spot. No, H, you say you fuck with the factory. I didn't even know y'all had wings. I got the wings and lemonade from there because my ex, she used to love the hot dog shit, but for sure.
Hot dog shit.
Well, no, she loved the hot dog.
That's why y'all ain't laugh. She love them hot dogs too much.
She didn't eat meat, so that's why it was significant. She liked the veggie one, so it was significant. Now talk about that's so silly. Now talk about dating a boss, whether it's somebody dating you or you dating another boss. Because I think a lot of times when you dealing with an entrepreneur, at least in my experience, it's hard to put a lot of time and effort into a relationship. Impossible. But we humans and we still crave that,
I only fuck with A-types and bosses. I mean, that's the only. I can't deal with nothing else because I'm busy, and I hope that you are busy as well.
Yes. Okay.
At the end of the day, when we make time for each other, let's make the most out of that time we have. But other than that, I'm busy. Like, maybe I think Erica Badu has maybe I'll see you next lifetime. I don't know, but like I can only attract like a certain type of woman because I appreciate that you're busy. You making moves because I'm busy too. I cannot be at home at 5 o'clock. I can't. Like, it's not gonna happen. If that's what you want, then you got to go do something different. And look, as long as I always tell folks that up front. So
I'm busy.
Do that make it harder to build though? If y'all both always busy, like how do y'all even build?
Because what's crazy when you get together with somebody that's busy, the time that y'all have together is beautiful. Because you only got so much time.
Okay, I like that.
So whether it's where you at this weekend or your city, shit, I'm about to meet you there. Or where you at today, that's important. So that day or time that we spend together is better than like coming home at 5 and like laying in the bed all day, like routine. Just kind of.
That's why I definitely tell my wife, like, I'm busy. Like, if we're gonna spend time, let it be like quality. Like something we can remember. Like, I can't sit down and watch TV and my head is like, damn, I gotta do this. Like, it might be less time, but let's
sneaking on the laptop, like, I'm watching, I swear.
Like, let's make it more important for the times that we are spending together. So I'm not around you on my phone all day, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, that balance is tough though. Like finding that balance. I don't know if do you feel like there is a balance, or it's like it ain't never gonna be.
I think you always gotta work toward that balance because when you're busy, things change fast. What you got popping today may not be what you got popping tomorrow. So you have to always work toward that balance. It's crazy. I tell folks, man, Atlanta is such a special place, right?
It is.
For black culture because Atlanta has like so many different pockets, which makes Atlanta, great. It's like it's an entertainment city. It's a film city. The LGBT community is crazy. The black political scene in Atlanta is unlike anything you ever seen. Like the black professional community in Atlanta is like, and you bring all that together. It's like it's so dynamic, man. I tell people, I don't care what you got going on. Come to Atlanta, and you're gonna find what you're looking for.
Yeah,
that's not the case everywhere in this country. I don't care. Even Los Angeles, you gonna have to. Man, that's a crazy ass city.
LA crazy. Y'all them damn zombies out there, man.
It's
people
like
weird out there.
You come to Atlanta, if you black culture, you gonna come here and find exactly what you want. If you can't find Atlanta, like you probably doomed. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I be telling people, because people always complaining about Atlanta. I'm like, well, I think it's you, because this shit working for me.
No, for real.
And you really gotta be about your business, or like
what you came here for.
Like the opportunity's gonna be there, but can't nobody make you do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
For real.
Facts. So we big on longevity. I think for us, we all got our own respective businesses. Of course, we do this together, but they do their own thing as well. Could you give us your tips for just longevity, and it just just any tips that you learned along the years?
Yeah, well, I'll tell, anybody that's starting a small business, like, you got to be, like, you have to be patient. You have to understand exactly what you want, and you got to wait for it to happen. And not wait sitting down, but, like, everybody don't pop overnight. It just don't work like that. You may not be ready. The market may not be ready for what you're doing. You got to really, like, be patient, and building a brand, a real brand, takes time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes the ability for yourself to be able to lead, because you can't do nothing by yourself. You need a real team. Not only, when people talk about a team, like not only like, a COO or like you need a attorney, you need tax. Like it takes a long time to build a team, right? And only you can build your team, and that takes time. So. I would just tell everybody, like, if you got a real vision of what you're trying to do, you got to just be patient and build it. It could be slow or fast, but you got to build it. You can't take no shortcuts there.
Yeah, facts. I have a question about your daily, like, do you have any daily routines? Like, is there a certain time you wake up, certain time you going to sleep, anything you doing in particular?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't care what time I go to bed. I'm always up super early.
Like what time?
I'm at like 5 o'clock every morning.
Real about shit.
I ain't gonna lie, I woke up this morning at 9:30 for some reason. I looked at the clock like, oh shit.
Damn, 4.5 hours.
Nah, for real, I had something missed. I'm like, oh shit, I'm behind. But
yeah.
But listen, I make sure I go to bed at whenever I'm finished working, and I'm up every morning at a certain time, because I got a daily routine. I wake up, I answer emails that I didn't answer before, because I don't answer emails like after 6. But I make sure I wake up, and any emails I do that morning. I make sure I touch base with my key team members early in the morning to see what's important, what they need help with. So that's like my first 3 or 4 hours a day. I normally don't eat until like noon, just so I can just run on adrenaline until then. I get to get my best work done from like 5 to 10 a.m. Because after that, shit hit the fan for something happened. Something gonna happen.
That's a fact.
10 o'clock hour, crazy, yeah.
So, but really though, you talked about like tips for entrepreneurs. Like, you gotta really build a great team. My team is crazy. And this ain't by design, but like my whole team across all my companies, all women. Like, women ain't playing around. No, women.
That's a fact.
I gotta challenge my guys out here. Like, women are really kicking our ass right now. Like, execution wise, idea wise, handling the business. I don't know what we doing out here, but like, every one of my companies, there's a woman CEO. There's one woman runs the brand. Like, my top attorney on my team is a woman. My CFO across all my companies is a woman. Like, I don't know what the hell we doing.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
We be holding it down.
No, hey, women. Hey,
Women's
if you want something done for real, get a woman to do that shit. She gonna do it well,
Facts.
For real.
Facts. Sure.
Well, I got another question.
Yes.
All right, so say if someone has a failing business, okay, how long do you stay in that position to where it's like, I want to revamp it because maybe it means a lot to you, you put in a lot of time and effort, how do you know when it's like, all right, this shit failing, it ain't gonna work?
Well, we talk about this all the time, every day. You know, you gotta look at your business and say, listen, with the resources I have right now, how long can I stay in business this way? Can I pivot to anything that can help the business continue to grow or make money, right? And if I don't have an answer to either of those, then it's probably time to try to sell that business or just close that business down. A lot of people look at failure like the worst thing in the world, but like that's really the only way you can learn and get to your next step. True. You know, that's we talk about businesses like Cru, Nyak, like, of course those making money, but I got a shitload of companies that I ain't gonna tell y'all that I lost money in because y'all don't care.
That's real shit.
What I mean? So, but you gotta understand when to hold them and when to fold them, and you gotta understand that along your journey of building your company, you know, you may have to, you know, call it quits, but that don't mean lose money. You know, I had this one company, we were trying to take Cisco out the game. Now, if anybody in the restaurant business, they know Cisco is a major conglomerate that really, I don't even want to use that word. They really take advantage of small business because most people cannot buy their products cheap enough to really make money. So what Cisco does, or U.S. Foods, I don't care if y'all listening to this is true. They buy a lot of stuff, and they at bulk, super bulk. They break it down and sell it to restaurants and put a super premium on it because they know that's the only way you get it from. They're making so much cash that they don't really care about how much money you make. So we try to come up with a deal where we try to take Cisco out of business by setting up processes where restaurants can order direct from the manufacturer, bypassing Cisco and saving a lot of cash. What they found out was, okay, this is too good of an idea. Like, we're going to try to run you out of business by immediately slashing prices on a lot of the stuff that you already have deal you worked. And it worked because the people that we helped came back to us and said, well, damn, man, Cisco has dropped this price so much. I said, well, damn. Okay, cool. And then we went to that manufacturer. We said, listen, okay, y'all smart. We about to go out of business, but what we do have that you don't have is we have relationships and lists for people that will be helpful to you if you start another division that focuses on just, they say, you know what, okay, boo, I'm going to buy that from you. And that wasn't a loss for us, right? We still made money on that transaction, but we put them on to something that they didn't understand, or they couldn't understand because they was too big. And if you look at, like, you know, a lot of the major companies, like, they buy companies instead of trying to build them. You know? Right, true. Right, so that wasn't a loss for us because we made money, but it was a big win for them because they understood exactly, you know, a lot of holes that they had, you know, in their process. So.
But what you're saying is kind of like get out your feelings, be real, and even go to the competitor if you got some shit to offer. Right. Like, that's like a humbling thing to be like, damn, you took me out of business, but I'm gonna go to you and offer you something, and they're gonna buy it, you know. But that's where they like, yo, get out your feelings, stop being emotional about the business, and that's big. Cause that's true.
Yeah, I mean, to this day,
I'm like, I ain't telling y'all nothing.
Yeah, no, to this day, get you on the way. No, it will. To this day, the guy who we helped, you know, we invested in that company and helped him build it. I mean, he still works there to this day. You know, he made a little cash, and now he gets a salary by just telling them exactly what they were doing wrong. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's called an earnout, but yeah, they gave him a extraordinary long earnout, which is unheard of. Normally, when you buy a company, or you sell a company to a competitor or anybody else, they're gonna put you in a non-compete to say, listen, this was a great idea, but just don't get no bright ideas. I don't want you to do this, anything like this for, you know, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. They gave him a 6-year non-compete, which is unheard of. Wow. With guaranteed salary just to start that new division, just off a simple idea you had to just save people, you know, money, you know. So
it's dope. And I think any entrepreneur or somebody thinking about it, like, I definitely think you made them, like, just want to think a little bit more about what they're doing and how they're moving.
Yeah, it's very important because, you know, at the end of the day, we ain't going to live forever. It's about our family, our legacy. You got to think about, you know, other folks, man. Because when you know, entrepreneurship is a dangerous game. Once you start making money, it's easy to blow what you're making. You know, it's hard to keep after you make it. You know,
Damn.
and it's crazy how many people forget how hard it was to get that money. You know, 'cause they next day you got a Rolls or a Benz. I'm like, damn, man, last 2 years you was on your knuckles.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? You know, but it's part of our culture. You know,
It is.
to floss on them.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you ever had any business ideas come to you that you shot down that ended up being major?
Oh, yeah. You know, I don't even want to talk about it, but look, you know, you can't invest in everything.
True.
Right.
You can't help everybody. And look, I'm proud of a lot of those guys, but you just can't invest in everything. Like, you know, I'm still trying to, we talked about it earlier, I'm still trying to find like my what's enough point.
You want to give us an
You know what I'm
example
saying?
of what you missed out on?
No. But I tell you, you know, yeah, I don't just get, you know, look, I am very pro-black and 100% like trying to support our own, but I get pictures from everybody and everywhere.
I bet.
You know, so it's some companies you never even heard of that does stuff that you think is probably corny, but like they're getting money right now.
Yeah.
Again, I was on you know, before I got here, the reason I was late, you know, 30 companies pitched and like everything from like, you know, setting up the Venmo of Africa to like, you know, setting up the DoorDash for like food in Latin America. Like but these are all black folks.
Wow.
You know,
That's hard.
That's hard.
Right, but you can't invest in everything. Like I
Right.
saw like 10 companies today. I was like, damn, I wish. Like how much is it going? But you can't invest in everything.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go with some of your experience and then also what you think is the future, because nobody can tell the future. But and kind of just roll the dice from there. You know. But
Thanks. Sure. So, you know, we got this question that we ask all our guests, man. We got to ask you.
Yes.
Our show is called The Progress Report.
Yeah.
So our keyword is progress. So, you know, what is your definition of progress?
just being better than what you was yesterday and being better than what you was this morning. That's real progress, like for real. And you ain't got to be much better than what you was, just a little better. And you know, exponentially, you have a big difference from today into next year. You know, staying the same is not gonna work with the way technology is moving. Being the same today as tomorrow that's not gonna help you.
Facts.
Man, we appreciate this knowledge. We appreciate you for supporting our brand.
Y'all doing y'all thing. I love it. Look,
Thank you.
I think it was who did I just watch last week? My man on the radio.
DC.
Oh, Fly Guy.
Fly Guy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's a very good brother right there. He was dropping some
sure.
jewels.
He was.
He
You know,
was.
what's crazy is I had approached him last year about Nyak. I'm like, man, what's going on with Nyak, bro?
He don't drink.
Because I know he don't drink. And he like, man, like, you know, I don't drink.
Yeah.
I support what you're doing. I'm like, damn, you don't drink.
That's crazy, right?
But no, it's a testament to like, cause in this culture, in this lifestyle, you like that's what's like, oh, get a drink,
Right.
do some drugs, you know, like he's like,
True.
man, I don't drink. I'm like, damn, that's what's up.
Right.
Yeah,
So
he
I was
lit
like,
as
yo,
a host.
no,
That
for
was
real.
my
Yeah.
No, because you know how people think that it's easy to be on the radio and turned up and meet so many different people, and then you in the club turned up and he doing all that sober. I'm like,
That's-
damn.
That's why it's
I have a
crazy.
different level of
No,
respect
for-
for him on that.
No,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
You know, so I really appreciate that about him, man. He a real talented brother and doing this thing. But yeah, I just watched that podcast. That was dope.
Thank
for
you.
watching it, man.
We appreciate you for blessing us with this amazing interview, man.
Yeah.
For
Appreciate
real.
y'all. I'm gonna
Hell
bring
yeah.
y'all some more liquor too.
Can't
Yes,
wait,
sir.
can't
You know what I'm
wait.
saying?
Man.
See, I got to rock up there, Delegating. Shout out to
Well, you know,
Diageo.
We got a revolt situation.
Yeah, we're
yeah.
with Revolt,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Did he help us out a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Nah, man, that's love, man. Look, you know, shout out to Diddy, man. Like what he's doing and what he continues to do ain't easy. You know, Diddy 50. He's been
Man.
doing this 30 years. Like, you know, he
They
just
killing
keep
it.
evolving, man. Like, so definitely motivation for that. I just bought me some Deleon. That shit crazy.
I fuck with
sir.
Deleon Reposado.
No, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
For sure, man. Well, again, thank you for your energy. Thank you for
thank
your
you.
time,
Thank
most
you.
importantly.
Look, any events y'all got going on, I can support. Let me know. It don't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Nyak. will
Don't say
support
that because
it.
we got a whole
Yeah.
list we
I
can
was
send
gonna
you
say
later
that.
on.
Send it to me.
Yeah.
We will. We got
No,
your
send
number.
it to
We'll
me.
set up a group chat
No,
off
for real.
air.
Alright,
But now
bet.
we do appreciate that. And you can hang this up on your fridge next to PJ's progress reports.
Okay.
But you got a progress report. You know what I
No, for
mean?
real.
Yes,
Nah.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I
Man, hell yeah, Dennis. This was dope.
I got to bring y'all some gift boxes, too.
For sure.
I got the Nyak gift boxes. I got to bring y'all 3 of them. Got you.
Appreciate it, man. Well, this was dope, man. It's the Progress Report podcast, y'all. We out.
Yeah.
The Progress Report.